Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Manuel, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Nick.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Spence is here.
Good morning. We're here because we're here.
Good morning. And Gal is here.
Good morning, everyone.
Katie is still.
Good morning.
Morning.
Too basic.
Katie is still out. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And this morning's show is made possible by vMix Software and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming. So, how was your week, guys? Who's first?
Well, I want to know about your week. In the pre-show, you were saying that you had some problems with somebody with Windows 11. So let's hear. We'll be your therapy session. We'll sit
right.
you down
Now that it's over, kind of.
Yeah.
Windows 11 is perfect. Do not disobey.
Look, I had a customer bring their brand new HP Envy.
There's your first problem.
It was still boxed. It's a nice machine though. And she brought her old laptop, which had Windows 8 on it, and she wanted to move her documents. I mean, basic things to the new one. So yeah, no problem. So I went and I activated that, and she had the card for Office, and I went ahead and redeemed it and installed it and everything. And then and she had a 5 terabyte external drive. I copied her whole profile there with all the pictures and all that. And later on in the day, I said, okay, now let's see, what else did she want? Oh, she wanted Chrome. Okay, so I'm going to Chrome, to Google, and I'm downloading Chrome. And I click on it to install it. And it says that something about, we're trying to protect you, so you need to get something from the Microsoft Store, and below it says, you can go to settings to change. So I click on that link to go to settings. Okay, and it's on settings, and you read the settings, and there's nothing there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, but there's nothing there that right away pops at you that you should do, that there's off and on switches like that. And I'm doing it again. And the only thing on my mind is, and last week we talked about it, that Microsoft now, through Edge, is sort of like discouraging you from installing Chrome because they don't like, they want you to stay with Edge. And they have big pop-ups and all that. And that's the only thing I can think of that it's doing. So I'm searching and nothing. And I'm doing it in between, doing it again, looking at it, nothing.
Are you searching through Bing?
No, I'm searching through Google.
Kidding.
I'm using Edge, but I'm going to Google to search. And finally, I caught one person that said something about that at the top of the apps, I think it was the app, default apps, there is actually kind of like inconspicuous link, not link, but the option that you can click and tell it where to download from. And it's defaults to the Microsoft Store only. Then you click the down arrow and it says from anywhere or let me okay if yes or no. And I'm saying it's right there, and it's really, I don't know. I mean, it may be me, but I didn't see it that whole time. You go to the default apps and you look at what's in there.
So if you were in S mode,
now
would it treat you any differently?
Yes.
Well, why?
It will not.
Mode, you
I don't think
can't
it would
install
let you.
anything.
Yeah, you cannot.
Well,
You
you
only
can
have
you can
store.
go in and turn S mode off. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
oh, yeah.
possible. But why would it not hide the fact that it was in S mode?
I don't know. I mean,
Because that's what it sounds like.
yeah, it wasn't, because I went to the about and it was just
Yeah.
Windows 11 Home.
That's
not-
weird.
Anyway,
Well, hold on a second.
Maybe-
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Windows 11 Home can still be in S mode. It's
I
not
know,
like it's a
I
different
know,
version.
but it was not in S mode. That's what I'm saying. I went there and it did not say that it's Windows 11, because I remember before it said something about S mode when it wasn't. I mean, a laptop.
I think Spence's question is, if you've already turned S mode off, why is it still
Yeah.
acting in that way?
That's
That
the whole
point
purpose
of
of
S mode. Yeah, that was the whole purpose of it. So
yeah, but the
Huh.
the reason I found out later was because I was telling it to just download from Microsoft Store.
Oh,
That's
no,
it.
I understand that. The question is, the whole point of Windows S mode is to not allow you to install.
Wait.
outside
Wait.
programs.
I said it wrong. That's right. You can go ahead and download, but it will not let you install.
Well, I think it does the same thing in S mode too.
Possibly.
It's
I mean,
just weird.
every
It
time,
seems like seems like the same thing in both versions, kind of defeating the whole purpose of having S mode. If that's how Home is going to act by default.
The laptop that I got, the Lenovo laptop, was on the specs when you bought it, said S mode. But when I got it, it was open. I didn't
yeah,
have to
this
do
was
anything.
open too. It didn't have to.
Interesting.
Because right after I did that, it went ahead and let me install it. I said, okay. And before that, I mean, there was 2 other programs that she needed, and they were in the Microsoft Store, so I just downloaded from there and installed it. I said, it's probably got something to do with the fact that now they don't want you to install Chrome, which was the wrong path to think. Okay, so that worked out. Went ahead, everything is set up. Oh, and there was OneDrive, and on her old machine, a lot of stuff was the OneDrive, and I uninstalled OneDrive, and I had to redo the quick access and all that. Everything worked fine. Now I'm ready for the updates. Go ahead, let's do the updates. And you can see it. Everything is downloading and the percentage and all that, and it's going, and it needs to restart, so you restart and it's going and all that. And after a few times of doing that, there were quite a few updates that said retry. And it said it had a retry all. So I did a retry all, and you could see that it's downloading, finishing downloading, installing, retry. So, saying, well, you look at the updates now. All these updates were not Windows updates. They were Realtek, and they were the machine update. But the 22H2, the latest update, was still there, and it wouldn't do it. I shut down and restarted, and at one time it did a BIOS update. Just leave it, okay, and it went and it wrote and it did the whole thing. It said okay. Restarted. That Windows update took, but the other ones, nothing. You redo it, redo it, redo it, and it's not doing it. I mean, and there's a bunch of, I mean, there are good updates for display and for the sound and all. Nothing. I said, all right, I'm just going to leave it now. This is like 8 in the evening, or it is. Yesterday morning, get up, start the machine. They're all gone. There's no more uh, updates. The screen was clear. I ran, check for updates, says, yep, you're up to date. This should have taken about half an hour to do what I did, which ended up taking hours. Again, it's probably me used to something, but there are things in there that really are, oh, why are you taking that ability away from people that know what they're doing or think they know what they're doing? I can understand somebody can screw things up, but that's it's your choice. You want to screw up your machine? Screw it up.
Well, no, I disagree with that.
Okay.
Well, this has always been Microsoft's biggest problem is that they get a bad rap on their operating system because people install malware all over them and go, "Oh my God, Windows is a disaster. It's full of viruses." So, I mean, yes, obviously you do have the right to hose your own machine if you want to, but that's still Microsoft's problem to deal with. In terms of the Windows update issue, I mean, that's that I mean, that's not a normal thing, but I mean, isn't that always been kind of a thing? Is when you sometimes a new machine when there's so many backlog pending updates that it just kind of the Windows updater just kind of falls flat on it.
Mhm.
I don't know that that's a new thing with Windows 11. I feel like that's always been a problem with Windows
That
and any new
and
out of the box machine.
in all
Some,
honesty,
not all, some.
those updates were not a window. None of them were had to do with Microsoft. It was
But
all machine
they are
based.
Windows updates. They're in
Yeah,
the mic
yeah.
they are being pushed down through the Microsoft Windows Update channels.
Good for you.
And
So it is.
and notice you did say they eventually succeeded. Your
Overnight, and the machine.
intervention in trying to react to those failures and reboot and all that and deal with it yourself is what caused the delay in everything. It was saying it was retrying or something, but it did something in
No,
the
it wasn't
background.
saying retrying. It said for you to click retry. It's for you
But
there,
then again, something was probably still running, right? So
and
now,
that's yeah.
giving your description, right? I'm hearing, oh, he did it completely wrong.
Well, I mean, I when
And
I
I'll explain. And
yeah,
okay, you first installed software, then you dealt with updates, which
correct.
I don't get.
I
You
was
install the
waiting. I was
OS,
waiting for it to
remove
do.
whatever you want, then install updates. Don't install anything yet,
I was
right?
waiting for
Because
it.
if something in the hardware is messed up and the updates will fail or something like that, you wasted a lot of time.
Correct. Good point.
So that's my first gut reaction. As for uh, Chrome specifically, right? Actually, any software today, I do not go and download any executable or setup anymore if I don't need to. You just use WinGet. So, and that simplifies everything. I have uh, this is baked into the system. You finally don't need to deal with the installers anymore. You just need to install the piece of software. And
Explain.
it works phenomenally well. You just open the terminal, you write winget install google.chrome, enter, it installs. You don't need to go to a specific site. You don't need to, if you don't remember how the software is named, you can search for it within the winget command line. But
I wonder
enough of
if
this.
it would have bypassed that option that you only allow Windows to install from the store stuff that comes from the
Install
store.
it from the store. What do you care?
Is Chrome in the store?
I
I
don't know.
don't
But
think
if it
s-
is, like, what do you care if it's in the store or not?
I don't
Why
think so.
not install it
No.
from the store?
That was
Right?
Let's
not
see.
That's what I'm saying.
that was not in the store, and she needed into it Quicken, which was not in the store.
Right, but install all of that after upgrades.
After, yeah. Yeah, I mean, but
So
I
this is
figured
Always
weird.
upgrade first.
In the Microsoft store,
Yeah.
you don't have Chrome, but you've got Brave, Opera.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You don't need to deal with it. We will get you installed from the store or from off the
No,
store.
I know,
Like,
I understand. I'm saying
yeah,
I'm surprised that Brave and I'm smart on them to be in the store for people that get a computer and don't know to turn that off, and they're forced to go. Like if you search Chrome, you get Edge, Brave, and Opera, the first three browsers. It's a smart move on there. Chrome's missing it. Google's missing an opportunity.
I think Google is they're doing it because they do not want to participate in that ecosystem.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is it smart? I have no idea.
I from the story last week, I understood that it's because Microsoft doesn't want people, because everybody seems to be going in and downloading Chrome or
There's
Firefox or whatever,
probably some sort of,
and they didn't.
like end user license. Uh, I mean, it's the same thing with Play Store and
Oh,
applications
you're
that can
talking about
download from YouTube,
why
right?
it's not in
So
the store? Is
maybe
that, yeah?
there's
Okay,
like a clause that is specifically designed to prevent Google from putting it there or something.
yeah, possible.
WinGet, trust me, people. Like
That's good to
I
know.
know, yeah, it
I
just
know it works on the Linux side to get.
no. This has nothing to do with the
No,
Linux
no,
side.
I'm just
WinGet
saying
is like
because
a Linux type of
yeah,
package manager for
right,
Windows.
yeah.
Uh, it is. This is a very surprising piece of software when you start to understand it. First of all, WinGet is completely open source. This is a Microsoft product built, shipped with the OS. It is completely open sourced, and the repository is completely open sourced and managed by the community, not just Microsoft.
Hmm.
It's basically a GitHub repo that people push to it. There's a process of approval and all that, but it's very lean. And very effective. Works very similar to repositories for Debian, for Red Hat, for and um, and before WinGet, I would use there are uh, completely community-driven repositories, right? There's one called Chocolately, which is very famous. That one is actually geared for enterprise development, right? So enterprise environments will install and maintain their own repository if they need complete trust and all that. And there are some community-driven ones called I think I talked about this in the past, called Scoop. Another amazing one, but today neither are really needed. WinGet does that for you, baked into the system, very effective. The code is good. It it will install from the store or from downloading the executable from the author's website of
Mhm.
the software. So it's and and interestingly enough, the the logic for WinGet might not necessarily be maintained by the software author, right? It can also be by a third party or a community person who really likes the software and wants it to be accessible, and it'll auto update tools for it, right? It's like everything is finally getting converged. Nobody really needs to write their own auto update, right? All you need to do is just WinGet upgrade in the name of the software, and you get an update.
Can
So
I make a can you find a YouTube video of somebody showing this, or can you make one and can we show it next week? Because I feel like
yeah,
this is one of these things where
I
people
can demo it.
yeah, can we do a demo on it? I think that
I'll
would be very cool.
I'll do more than that. I am this week I am going to reinstall my son's Windows 11 machine.
Oh,
I,
perfect.
so I can probably capture some of the process, and I can
Yeah.
show like from zero to hero, like the entire process fast forwarded,
I think that would be awesome.
delay
Yep.
on the important parts. Yeah, because I did it not too recently on this machine, and I gotta say Windows 11, other than finding the out-of-box experience hack to not exactly hack, but bypass of the Microsoft login, which I didn't want, right?
Mhm.
Just bypassing that. Other than that, I had zero issues. Everything was so smooth. Uh, yes, even though I downloaded the media creator and installed the most recent version, there were a lot of upgrades to install. But that's literally every OS today, right? Uh, and the upgrade process required probably 5 or 6 reboots because of various drivers installs that are more complex and more uh, ending of the system. But the entire process of installing software and controlling and removing software and all that was surprisingly smooth.
I
Uh,
I had something this week. It's not even really well, it is a Windows 11 thing. Out of I turn off my computer pretty much every night. So whenever there's updates, they go whenever there's an update ready and I go to shut off the computer, it does it. So I don't ever hold them back. Did you note now that now you can right click anywhere on the taskbar and get to the task manager? That was right away on Windows 11. That was a huge pain for a lot of people. And seemingly in the last couple of updates, I guess, now you can right click anywhere on any taskbar on any screen and get to the task manager instead of having to click the start menu. So they listened.
well,
People bitched about it. They did it.
I replaced my taskbar,
Yeah.
so I'll check on my son's where it's still the original one. I'll see if it was updated for him as well.
Yeah.
I
So I
find
mean, that's a situation of not problem's not the right word, but
control the
a
control alt
go ahead.
delete still work.
Oh, control delete always work.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
it's
but
just good to see
Control
that.
Alt Delete are you need to use both of your hands. You
Yeah,
need to
true,
click
true,
3
true.
buttons, and then you need to move the mouse and choose Task Manager.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Going with your mouse and right clicking a very, very wide button, which is what is the taskbar, is a lot easier.
Yeah. Sorry, Nick. You didn't finish. Or you did?
No, that's to say. It's
Oh,
just
okay.
people were complaining about not being able to have that. It's something that they've done for years. I retrained myself to use the start button, so I didn't realize it until I accidentally right clicked on the taskbar for something, or accidentally clicked on it or right clicked on it earlier this week. So, I mean, they do listen. It's not always the quickest response, but things
I mean,
they do eventually get around to those things.
this is not
Interestingly
just
enough, though, sorry, go ahead.
it's
Amnon.
not just Windows 11. It's in Windows 10 too.
It was
No,
no,
Windows 10 was work. Windows
no,
10 worked.
no, my point was by default on Windows 11, you couldn't right click on the taskbar and get to the task manager.
Oh,
They took
okay.
that functionality out. I
Oh,
think you're the one that told me about it, Amnon.
I
That they
don't.
took it out, and it was a huge pain for a lot of people because it's been in every Windows since, I mean, like the earliest, I think back to 95 maybe, where you can right click on the taskbar and get to some sort of manager, program manager. But they added it back.
Look, they went from, right, we don't trust the users. We're going to limit their access to things that might be shiny and unfamiliar to them and they might cause damage, right? They went from that. They first revamped the task manager and then they made it, once they revamped, I'm guessing the group behind the new task manager were complaining internally and said, look, you asked us to have this whole project, right? We recreated a tool, we made it better, but you're hiding it. And so that probably opened up the access again to the task manager from everywhere.
So that means they need to come up with a new version of Windows 11 called dull. If it's not
That's
shiny,
Windows
it's
S, no?
dull.
If it's not shiny,
Windows
it's
for
dull.
dullards. Does anybody have any experience trying to reuse a Windows 10 Pro license that's been not in service anymore to upgrade a Windows 11 Home to Pro?
Using the license during the upgrade process.
No, I mean, I have a machine that I purchased. That's a laptop. That's Windows 11 Home. I found online saying you can do it. And this is from Microsoft. But I'm
Yeah,
wondering.
but you need to have Windows 10 installed there in order to do it.
Doesn't say that.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
have
that's
to.
what's
It
weird.
says if you're moving to it, like say I had an old machine that failed, had Windows 10 Pro on it. Now I bought a new machine. I would like to use that Windows 10 license that I own to upgrade my Windows 11 Home to Pro.
Yeah, so it should detect it
Oh.
automatically
Yeah. No, well,
Different
it's not the
different
same
hardware.
hardware. So it doesn't detect it because it's not the same hardware.
because the key was
Yeah.
hardware.
So
See, here is a
I'm
benefit of doing things with a Microsoft account because I guarantee you, and they're going to recommend if you tag that in your Microsoft account, it will probably propagate to that machine. Would be my guess is how they will
yeah,
handle.
but I have
That's
to.
how they handle license management now for multiple licenses.
So I just went into my account and I looked. I have 5 Windows 10 Pro licenses,
okay.
and of which I know I'm only using 2, and I have my new Windows 11. So I would like to take one of those. And the good news is that I can actually identify which machines they are because they're gone. I mean, what was my desktop is gone.
Yeah.
So
And you're looking inside your online Microsoft
account, correct?
That's great. That is one of the benefits of having a Microsoft account.
I did this
Now,
just because I'm
speak-
managing, machines for my wife and that I need to know what I have, and I'm okay with it. I don't stay logged in. I log out of my account. I realize that when I start Windows, I'm in an account, but I do have offline accounts available on each of these machines that I created as if I need to use it.
Amnon,
Yes.
you
sir.
mentioned that when you installed, this lady brought her Windows laptop
Yeah.
over. She had an Office key. Was it a 365 key?
No, it was
What was it?
Windows Desktop 2021 Home and Business.
Really?
Yeah.
And it was a physical key, a physical card that she got?
It's you can buy it at the store.
Did you have to log into a Microsoft account to activate it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Which is again is folks, I want to be totally transparent here. I am not a Microsoft fan. I'm not. I'm not. I promise you. But managing license keys, there's hundreds of thousands of keys that are just forever gone because the piece of paper gets lost or box gets thrown away or Spence Notes computer gets thrown away. That's a valid key for either software or an operating system. And Microsoft doesn't particularly care to make money on the OS itself. That's why they give you free upgrades now and they don't charge for anything. That is a phenomenal thing that they're doing with the Microsoft account, is using it as essentially as a license manager.
Well, that's
This is
because
perfect.
they've moved to a subscription model. So they want everybody to be on a subscription, not on a perpetual license.
Yeah.
So I actually bought 2 Windows Office 2021 Pro versions online from a software reseller. They cost about $45 each, full license. It's actually now registered with my Microsoft account. So I was able to get it for a fraction of what the cost would be because I wanted a perpetual license. I didn't want to have to deal with 365 and all that. Although I like it and I've installed it and I have customers that use it because they're businesses. They want to be able to have that accountability, but I found that it worked really well.
Microsoft account was another thing that kind of got me pissed.
Why? Why did that piss you off?
It needed a Microsoft account or Skype or whatever.
Yep.
And I couldn't get her on the phone. So I went and I knew, she's not using it. She doesn't know anything about it. But I went ahead and I looked in the old machine under Chrome to see if there was anything for Microsoft, if there's anything for Skype, there was not. So I said, forgot password. And it says, okay, we'll send you a notice to reset it. Which email would you like it to be sent to? And I'm saying, oh, I don't have to fire up the old, put my email address. Sure enough, they sent me an email that said, this is how you can go ahead and reset the thing. I said, really? You're just letting me do this like that? And when I went there, you had to fill up information, which I didn't have, as in her date of birth and things like that. I said, oh, never mind. Yeah. So I left it alone. And then when I got her on the phone, I said, do you know if you have a Microsoft account? She said, I think so, because you had to set it up a few years ago. I said, okay, do you have it anywhere? She said, let me check. I'll call you back. She sent me a text with a little sticky note on some kind of a bulletin board that she has at home. And she said, this is in your handwriting. I guess this is what it is. And it says MS and something. And that was it. And I put it in, and sure enough, it went through and everything was fine. Yeah. That was, but I couldn't believe. I said, "You going to let me change it?" And then I realized, no, I mean, you have to have a little. Now, the truth is, to find out this information online about anybody is probably trivial these days.
Yep.
The name and what's the date of birth was the only thing.
Yeah, but that's the first step. You don't know if there's a
I don't.
second
Yeah,
step.
I have no idea. But I would think that
I
they
think
would
they
want.
are actually
I would like.
responsible.
I would like it to say we sent it to the email address on record.
That's
Yeah,
not
but if you
if it's
lost access,
that's the whole problem. Your access could be the same Microsoft account that you're trying to log into. If you use Hotmail or any sort of Microsoft email system, it's the same account.
Yeah.
you need somebody to give you access to another email account sometimes.
Google does this too, by the way. This isn't just Microsoft. If you go to an old Gmail address and try and get access back to it, and it'll say, what do you think one of the last, what was one of the
Last
last
time.
6 passwords? If you can't do that, it'll start quizzing you. When was the account created? And you have to go through and try and,
Yeah.
gin up as much information as possible. And if you're close enough, I assume I think there's some sort of manual process with it because it's not automatic, but it will
Everything's
come.
automatic.
Is it?
If it cannot, if you cannot, yeah, it cross references a lot of questions when you get to that recovery process.
Okay.
If you cannot go through that recovery process, there is no manual recourse. There's no person unless you know somebody who actually works for Google and
In that department.
can reach the support people inside, right? There is zero options for you
And
as
then
a layman.
you can't set up a new account, because when you put your name and whatever information, which is the same, you're being uh, uh, honest, they say, oh, this already exists.
Yeah.
No,
And now you
But I
caught
have
in.
had
Go ahead.
but
I have had it though where I was trying to recover an old account that I didn't create. It was for an organization. And there was it after I filled out all the questions, I didn't answer enough of them correctly. It went to it said something to the, and this was over a year ago. Something of it's being reviewed and we'll get back to you within 2 days. And somebody did email me back. Maybe
Oh,
they've changed that
well,
now.
that's something else. A review like that is flagged, yes. But I can tell you one thing: the easiest way to create a Google account, a Facebook account, is doing it on a phone. I am guessing that they transmit the IMEI of the phone during the process, or at least the IP, because it's coming from a mobile network. They accept that over something that's done over a computer. I have, I don't know the details of why, but from my experience, if I want that was something that really pissed me off. Creating a completely anonymous account today is next to impossible. It is always tied to some sort of identifying endpoint, whether it's a phone number or an IP address or something that if they ever need, or they need to report to a government entity or whatever, they have like there's a full audit trail that can reach that is bizarre.
Well,
Definitely not how the internet used to be. So
talking about that's not how the internet used to be. And I mean, are we done with this subject?
yeah, we beat this down dead
Um,
horse
and
too.
open source. Listen to this. OpenAI is today unrecognizable with multi-billion-dollar deals and corporate partnerships. OpenAI was founded, and these are the people of ChatGPT. OpenAI was founded in 2015 as a nonprofit research organization by Altman, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, and LinkedIn co founder Reid Hoffman, among other tech leaders. In its founding statement, the company declared its commitment to research to advance digital intelligence in a way that is most likely to benefit humanity as a whole, unconstrained by the need to generate financial return, the blog stated. That since our research is free from financial return, free to all researchers would be encouraged to share papers, blog posts, or code. And our patent, if any, will be shared with the world. Now, 8 years later, we are faced with a company that is neither transparent nor driven by positive human impact, but instead, as many critics, including co founder Musk, have argued, is powered by speed and profit. That's interesting. I mean, I can understand some of it. I mean, come on, there's too many things here that you can be left in the dust.
Where are you reading this from?
Again, this is probably this came from Slashdot, but it probably came from The Verge. I'm not sure.
In a moment, I don't know. I mean, ChatGPT, right? The engine is still open source.
Well, the
What's
thing
not
remember
open source?
they're talking about OpenAI, the company.
Right. So I mean, their moneymaker right now is
Yeah,
ChatGPT.
that's
Right
that's what they're people.
now. ChatGPT is a bunch of things, but the code, the development, they keep on publishing, they keep on sharing with the world. The code itself is open source. So I don't know where that's coming from. Now,
I don't know.
this suddenly, I mean, look, this is an open source company, right? That is hosting something that millions, probably tens of millions of people
Billions
are hammering on its resources at this point, right?
Yeah.
So they have definitely needed to shift their position.
Oh,
I'm not.
I agree.
By the way, I'm not defending them in any way. I'm just trying to understand the details of the critique. So
the details is because they were founded on this base. They never changed that base, and now they just became driven by profit and speed and all that. Well, change your main thing.
Where does the driven by come from? That's what I don't get. Because they became popular, they are now driven by it?
I don't know.
I mean, they're in survival mode at this point. So
it's apparently
I don't get
from the founders of the company.
What? Because suddenly they don't have time to talk to the press or something because they're dealing with crashing systems left and right.
I don't know.
It's like I don't get the critique. I don't get where it comes. It sounds to me like there's some shareholder, right, that is pissed off that this isn't public and he can't make a profit out of it, and the company is making a profit. This is how it sounds to me. It sounds like capitalism 101. Somebody is is pissed off that the effort of somebody else isn't going into his pocket. That's how it sounds to me.
Maybe.
Right? Because come on, it's like this, this is less than 6 months that they released version 3 of ChatGPT, which the previous version was also open source. Now, is it easy to replicate ChatGPT? No, because the source, while it's open source, right? AI is always about the data set. And the data set requires huge computing powers in order to just create that data set. And you've seen what happens with when they open the data set without curation, what happened with Bing, what happened with right, with internal tests of Google.
Yeah.
But the moment you connect it to the internet without any proper curation, ChatGPT is frozen in time, right? And that's what makes ChatGPT specifically work. And that's exactly what's making the new iterations, which are based on ChatGPT code, right? The new iterations to fail because it can't deal with live streams of data. It can't deal with
nobody could.
The amount of hatred, the amount of the pus of humanity floating up in the internet, and you give it direct access, right? So for now, the only AI environment where you go, right, and you get something that seems to be working is theirs, the ones that have committed themselves to help humanity. So I don't know. It sounds to me like somebody's pissed off that they can't make a buck out of them, and that it doesn't really interest them. They are in survival mode at this point. They are probably also, they are in a position where they might make a lot of profit, but I don't think that has changed yet. That's why I'm worried by. That's why I asked who's publishing this.
Yeah,
felt ingenuine. That's my take anyway.
All right.
Don't worry, because Bing Chat has it all solved. Because they have a new mode. It's supposedly hidden called celebrity mode. Did you hear about this?
No.
Where you can chat with a celebrity, a sports figure, a famous person. So that's all we need.
Yeah, they said that something about they gave it some personalities.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's called celebrity mode, and you can pick a famous person, an actor, a singer, athlete.
So basically, if you want to see Albert Einstein go into a meltdown, that's what you need to do.
Or no, you can become best buds with Albert Einstein.
Yeah, but the experience showed that 9 out of 10, it just goes into a meltdown. So starts accusing you of crimes against humanity. So,
oh God.
All right, Nick, are you ready for? Oh, he's not here. Oh well. I don't know. The only thing that I got from this article is, so these guys are the ones that founded the company. That's
founded. I mean, they invested
co-founded,
probably, right? Yeah.
And Eleanor.
I don't know. It feels it.
Let's not get into that.
I don't know where it's going, right?
Yeah,
but that article seems like a complete leap in a direction that I haven't seen anywhere. Right?
Eleanor in the chat is saying, Thiel, Musk, speed, profit, behind the scenes, dark money manipulation galore. That I don't want to use their products anymore.
Not their product. Don't worry. They put some money in it, but it's not their product.
Yeah.
I don't think they have a say.
Anyway, Nick, are you ready for specials?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
So before we got started, Spence was saying, and the pollen has just been awful here in North Carolina. It's been a real pain in the ass.
Yep.
And, your car needs a rinse, your house, and you got to wash everything off. And this is from the official Aorus Facebook page this past week. They put this out and said it's spring cleaning. Tell us the ways that you enjoy washing your computer. So this is the official Gigabyte Aorus account. And you can see now this is a very old motherboard by the looks of it. There's either a VGA or a serial port on the board at the top, like a double layer VGA, which is not what you would see on a newer computer.
Yeah, the
But
blue.
yeah, you can see here that this computer got a spring cleaning. Nothing inherently wrong with that.
It works very well on any old system boards that don't work.
Yes, absolutely, yes. And never mind. All right, let's let's get into the specials. Couple of computers to get us started off here. A couple of or a computer, I should say, to get us started here this morning over at Costco. This is the Lenovo Flex 7i. I think if you're buying a laptop right now, low, medium, or even high end, I'm not sure that anybody is beating Lenovo right now. Their price to performance, the quality of their machines. I know I have two. I know Spence bought one a couple months ago. They're freaking phenomenal. They're just and their prices are just unbeatable. This laptop has a 14-inch touchscreen. You can see by the picture there, it's one of these fold back hinge flexes, so you can also hold it as if you were using it like a obviously a very large iPad at 14 inches, or you flip it the other side and it's just a regular laptop. Looking at the keyboard, because it's only a uh, 14-inch laptop, it doesn't have a numpad on it, so it's a 10 keyless, which isn't a huge problem. It's got a fingerprint reader on it. In terms of specs, 16 gigabytes of memory with a 12th gen Core i7 1255U. That's a 10 core processor. So you have 20 threads, 10 physical, 10 virtual cores on this processor. Comes with Wi-Fi 6, which is 6E, which is great. That's the latest Wi-Fi standard. Built-in webcam. Surprisingly, it comes with Windows 11 Home, which seems odd for a laptop at this price point, but I guess unless you're literally buying a business machine from Dell or somebody else, you're not going to get anything but a home license. So this is a really great deal on a laptop. It's not cheap; it's $700. But this thing is a beast. You'll be able to get a lot done with this processor.
I
with
wonder
this
how long
RAM.
the battery lasts.
I don't know how long it lasts, but it
Minimum of 4
does.
hours.
What'd you say?
A minimum of 4 hours. Lenovo doesn't produce anything that doesn't last 4 hours at least. Some of them run much more.
Yeah.
So,
Now, it's one of these things where if you are, if you're running with the backlight on the keyboard, which it has that you can turn off, that's going to drain your battery. If you're running the screen at full brightness instead of a quarter or half brightness, those things all very much factor into it. But yeah, agree with Golf. For a laptop that typically MSRP is for $1,000, I assume it's probably got some pretty decent battery life. It's available over at Costco, $300 off, $700 flat over there. Our next product takes us back to Costco. I guess we'll stay there. This is a Samsung Galaxy. Now, this is the 2021 version, so it's not the newest. Excuse me, the 2020 version. So it's not the newest. It came out in late 2020, early 2021. This is the Tab, the Tab S6. It's 64 gigabytes. It's almost a 10.5-inch screen. Comes with a really nice portfolio style folding case, a stylus. So this is a pretty good tablet here. Samsung's tabs have always been pretty much up there with Apple. If you're serious about buying a high performance tablet, you're buying either an iPad or a Samsung Tab series. Those are really the two kind of trendsetters on that. Great price though. How about $200 available over at Costco, both available in store and online. Next up, and I know Spence has something similar to this. And there's a lot of these portable monitors, and you can get ones that are dirt cheap from Chinese brands. But this is a ViewSonic. So there's some level of quality control and support with this that even though it's most likely the same components, there's some level of that you're getting with something from a brand that's been making monitors for what, 25 years of ViewSonic, if not more, has been in the
More.
monitor game.
Yeah.
So they've been around a minute. This is a portable, it looks like a laptop or a tablet. It's not. It's literally just a portable monitor. It's got some cool features on it. It has surprisingly built-in speakers, which is nice. They're obviously not great. They're 0.8 of a watt. So it's not like they're super high powered, but enough to just ambient audio like Windows sounds. And maybe if you're listening to a podcast or something like that, it'll be all right. In terms of connectivity, it's got one mini HDMI, which is unfortunate. Mini HDMI is not a great connector. It's very prone to breaking, not the cable, but the port inside the device. Um, two USB Type Cs, which is predominantly how you're going to connect any modern laptop to it via USB-C cable, and a 3.5 millimeter audio out. So you can very well connect this to a set of speakers. And Spence, weren't you doing that? You and your wife doing that when you were in
I
Alaska?
did. That's how I watched and streamed from my phone. And I had the one I had was not as versatile as this. The fact that this will do data and video over USB-C is great.
Mhm.
I mean, and this can be powered from your laptop USB-C,
Correct.
which is also great. But yeah,
Yeah.
we were doing that with had a mini HDMI, and I bought the Apple iPhone to HDMI adapter. Actually, the one I had a full size HDMI, and it was mini HDMI on the Apple adapter.
I wish it was full size HDMI. Mini HDMI is just such a garbage connector. But you get what you get on it.
Yeah, but you
So
could use the USB-C.
you could, yeah, if your
Just on
laptop
video.
has,
So, yeah.
yeah, absolutely. So it's not the best sale in the world. It's normally $150. It's 13% off, so you get it for $130. But it's a really cool device, and again, ViewSonic. So I don't think you necessarily have to worry about getting completely ripped off or scammed on it. This is Amazon's choice in well, never mind, disregard that. It says Amazon's choice in computer monitors by ViewSonic. So I guess if you're shopping a ViewSonic monitor, it's Amazon choice. I checked it out for $130 over there at old Amazon. Next up, head on over to Walmart and take a look at this Vizio. This is a very, compared to what we've had the last couple of months, this is a very, how should I say it? It's a very normal television. It's not anything bombastic. It's very box standard. It's just a regular 50-inch 4K television. It does have Vizio Smart TV built in, which isn't bad. It's not obviously as great as a Roku or a Fire Stick, but if you're simply just wanting to watch Netflix or maybe YouTube on this, you probably don't even need an external stick or box. There's a lot of apps on the Vizio Smart TV. I looked at mine the other day. I had a couple minutes to kill, and I was scrolling through to see what was new. And there's a lot of apps on the Vizio Smart TV. This one is available over at Walmart. It's normally $365, and it's on sale for $268. So you save about 100 or so bucks on that. In terms of ports and connectivity on it, it's got 3 HDMI ports, so plenty to connect your devices to it. Excuse me, yeah, 3 HDMI ports. One of them supporting ARC. It does have composite in, which is great. I like to reference and point that out if you're connecting an older video game system or a VCR or DVD player every once in a while. It's got that plus an antenna, Ethernet, so you can connect it straight to your network, and then of course some audio outs if you're connecting a soundbar or another device. Which, by the way, if you're buying a television like this, a soundbar is a must. Your viewing and listening experience will be miserable without a soundbar. The integrated speakers on even the most expensive televisions, $2,000-$3,000, suck because the TVs are so thin. There's no room for any decent speakers in there. Get a soundbar. Vizio sells cheap ones. I've had mine for years. Big fan of it. So check that out over at Walmart. Next up, a couple months ago at this point, somebody in the chat was asking about modems. You ever looked at your cable bill? You might be paying anywhere between $10 and $15 a month for a cable modem, depending on who your provider is. And they control your hardware, and again, you're essentially leasing it from them. So you could go out on your own with the Aris Surfboard. This is the SB8200. It's DOCSIS 3.1. It works with Comcast, Xfinity, Cox, Charter Spectrum, and many other DOCSIS 3 cable systems across the country, more regional systems as well. It's got two gigabit ports on it, which I found to be odd because this is not a router. It's just a modem. So I'm not sure. Gal, why would a modem like this have two ports so that I don't know. You can't feed two different routers with it, right? You're only going to get one IP address. I couldn't really think of why you'd want to do it unless you want maybe you're combining the gig ports into 2 gig or gig and a two and a
One
half or something.
ports. That's what it says.
Which yeah, it's got two 1 gigabit ports on it. Yeah, which I didn't know why. I can't think of a use case.
Convenience?
Convenience
For
to
what
what?
though? Your
I don't
your
know.
your router is going to give it the IP address.
Maybe
I don't know why.
So
maybe
I, I wonder if there's any routing logic between those two one ports, and then you can basically run uh, a completely isolated network.
or
Theoretically,
maybe
I should have read.
if you have a business account, we can have more than one IP.
So this the extra port on the 80, according to an Amazon review, take this for what it's worth. The extra port on the 8200 is to support additional WAN connections.
Oh,
So
it
you could
is.
actually you could use this at you could pass two WANs essentially through this device. One coming in via coax cable and the other from a completely separate ISP and feed that straight to your router. That's pretty cool, actually. Good.
or if your ISP just gives you Ethernet, right?
Oh yeah, well then.
Then
Yeah,
you don't
you're right. You
necessarily
still
need
need
a
a modem.
modem, but it still acts as the router, right? So
Yeah. So not sure why it's that most people probably
think about
don't have
this.
any use for that.
You bought a piece of
think-
hardware. Now you're switching suppliers. You
Yeah.
don't necessarily want to reconfigure everything, so this is still going to work.
Yeah,
So it
absolutely.
makes sense.
And the price is right.
Yeah, the price is great. Again, this is not a router, so you're going to need a device to provide Wi-Fi and routing. So you can't if you have a modem router combo from your ISP and you turn that in and buy this, you're going to be woefully disappointed when one device connects to the internet via Ethernet because it's grabbing the public IP address.
Actually, that port is the dark web port.
Oh, perfect. There you
Yeah.
go. It's sponsored by LifeLock or Norton.
That's it.
So you can check that out over at Amazon. $75. Ditch the yearly subscription from your or monthly subscription from your cable provider, and you'll probably get better speeds. This thing will support up to 2 gigabits worth of connectivity in terms of the plans that the speed it can support 2 gigs internally. So check that out over at Amazon. Next up, this is a hell of a deal on a wireless headset. You might be saying, well, it doesn't. This is not what I look for when I'm looking for a headset. But this is Logitech's Lightspeed headset. And the cool thing about a device like this is that it's got a USB dongle to connect it to your computer for it to use its proprietary Lightspeed connectivity that they also use for their mice and keyboard, which in tests somehow have lower latency than a cable, which I don't even know how that's physically possible, but it's been documented by various sources that it's equivalent, if not better than cable transmission. But it will also connect via Bluetooth, and it can connect up to two different devices at the same time. So you can switch between your computer and your video game console, your phone and your Nintendo Switch. You can connect and switch between all of those devices. It's got 18 hours worth of battery in this thing. So you can go on an all-day gaming binge and still have some time left. It's got Dolby Atmos support, and it's got a built-in microphone in one of the ear cuffs. So this is an expensive headset. This thing is $80 MSRP. It's on sale 63% off for just $30. This is the number one headset that people are using for the PlayStation 5. So that should give you some indication of who's buying this. It's predominantly marketed towards gamers, but a lot of people are buying it. It's got over 5,700 reviews on Amazon. This next item is one of the, we don't like inkjet printers, but sometimes they're just so cheap that if you need a printer to literally for like a project, just buy this, use the built-in ink, and then when it runs out, if you can't find affordable ink, throw it away. This is the Canon Pixma TS6420A. This is an all-in-one that supports print copying and scanning. And it's Oh, it's a picture printer. It's Pixma brand, so it's going to have very much in terms of high fidelity printing through this. It is an all-in-one, and it is an inkjet. So if you're just ripping and reading documents, probably not the best go-to. But if you need to print color every once in a while, I don't I don't know that you'll find a better deal for $55 for a color printer like this. That's over at Amazon as well. Next up, this is just for Amnon because he's got to be able to load his physical copy of Windows 95 on a computer. So he needs an external DVD drive to do it because no new laptops have those drives. So he's going to go over to Best Buy after the show and pick up this 8X external USB drive from LG.
I'll be right back.
Before I, yeah, he's going to leave right now. Before I put this in the specials, I went on Amazon to look and see if this was even a good deal. The LG one is normally $40, but even the cheap ones, like the random no-name brands, are $15 to $20. So if you're going to spend $15 on some cheap Chinese one that is from some no-name brand on Amazon, spend $5 more and get a more reputable one coming directly from LG. This is available just for the next 14 hours. So if you're going to act on it, pick it up before the day's out, so that you can get that.
And this is not just a reader.
No, you're right. It's a reader writer. It's not a Blu-ray drive though.
Right.
I saw some people commenting. It's a DVD RW and a CD RW, so you can master media as well, but just standard discs, no Blu-rays. Right. $20, pretty hard to beat. I've had a set of these, not this exact brand, but I've had a set of monitor arms now. Boy, I was still living in New York when I first got them. And they just simplify, they make everything so much easier to use on your desk. You have no monitor stands that can get piled up with junk. You don't have to worry about the mismatch in heights or one monitor being a little bit wobbly because it's hanging halfway off the table. You get one of these things and it's perfect. It's got a little C clamp that you just put on the back side of your desk. You wedge it against the wall and then you mount the monitors on. It'll support anything between 13 and 27 inches. Unlike a TV stand where you can probably get away with a larger a larger TV than the mount allows, the reason that it's limited on size here is because there's two of them. So if you try to put two 40-inch monitors on this, the arms aren't physically big enough to do it. It's not even a weight issue. I've got some 27-inch monitors on mine and they're tight, but they do fit. This is normally about $35 or so. It's on sale over at Amazon for $17.40. There is a coupon through Slick Deals, which actually makes the price $17.76, which I thought was pretty funny from a historic standpoint. So check that out, available over at Amazon. Next up, this is not a smart device at all. It's as dumb of a device, but it's more smart than using a key, I guess. This is a TO keypad deadbolt door lock available over at Amazon. This is not a smart one. It's not going to connect to your phone. It's got no Wi-Fi, no app that it connects with, but it is really cheap in terms of adding a keypad to any door where you typically use a key. It's just $25. It's 50% off. I have a U-lock and I've had that for years. And the idea of using a physical key to unlock a door is kind of odd to me. The doors at work have keypads on them. My one here has a keypad. You don't realize how much of a pain it is fishing through your pockets to find your keys when you don't even need to bring them. If you're just going out on a walk, you just unlock your door with a key code. That's available over at Amazon, 50% off there.
Unless the batteries run out while you're gone.
But true. Like many of these things, the physical ones, the ones that don't have smart connectivity and can't, report battery life back, these things will scream at you for weeks to replace the battery when they start getting low. So if the battery just dies, it's because you're incompetent and you just didn't follow the beeping tones on them. They are egregiously annoying.
These are great. Couple of things to keep in mind. It does not come with the actual deadbolt itself. It's just an actuator.
Mm-hmm.
So it's usually compatible. My daughter just installed one that was from Simply Safe. I don't know who made it. And it came with an adapter kit to work with Kwikset and Schlage and different locks. We did get it to work fine. but keep in mind that this has its own key.
Yep.
So if you want a key to like find out what type of key this uses, the Simply Safe one was actually a quick set lock. So you could rekey. Your other locks work the same. So you just need to be prepared that if the battery goes dead and you want to get in, you're going to need to use the key.
Yeah.
But they're great. I mean, this is a fantastic thing to have. And if you can, apparently you can give it up to 20 codes.
Yep.
So
It'll support 20,
Yeah.
which is cool. And
one-time
it's got a
passwords.
thing. It's got a thing on it called anti-peeping, which I thought was kind of neat. If you're afraid that, well, I mean, I don't know what the situation would be. You can enter random numbers before and after your actual 4-digit password, and it will still unlock the door. So if your password is 1234, you can enter 8891234 643, and it will still unlock your door because it's those 4 digits that it's looking for, which I thought was kind of a neat feature.
That is slick because you
it is
always
pretty
worry
cool.
about somebody sitting there with a pair of binoculars looking at you key it in.
Yeah, so you
Very
can,
good. That's a great
You can
feature.
kind of screw with them a little bit on that. They do say it'll run for about a year on the battery. My U-lock door, which has got a fingerprint scanner, which of course no longer works, is about 8 months, I think. But mine has an app, so it'll warn me. This one will not, but you do have obviously a light on it, and it will beep and tell you that the battery's dying. And of course, it's got the physical key as well. So check that out. $25, a hell of a deal. And again, you don't realize how much of a pain a key is till you start using one of these on a regular basis.
You wait till your neighbor is working in the yard. You go over and you install one on his house that he doesn't know about, and then you're holding him for a ransom. That's all.
Yeah, there you go. That's also an opportunity as well. $25, pretty cheap to get some ransom money. All right, next up, how about a Bluetooth receiver? If you have maybe an older home theater system or an older speaker system that doesn't have Bluetooth because it's not the most recently made device, you can very easily get a Bluetooth receiver. There are some very cheap Bluetooth receivers. They can be had for about $10. But like anything else, you're talking about a digital to analog conversion, a DAC. And if you get a cheap DAC, you could potentially notice a difference in audio quality. So here's a Fosse audio device, and they make this is a very reputable audio brand. They make a whole bunch of equipment. I like that it's got a physical antenna that sits on the outside instead of it just being integrated inside. So the range on this presumably is going to be a lot better. It's just a simple 2-channel receiver. So it's got 4 controls on the front, a power, a volume, and then a treble and bass. A couple of opportunities to do some outputs for it. You can obviously connect it straight to speakers, or you can run it into something else. It is also an amplifier, so you can use this as an amplifier. It doesn't have to run into a speaker amplifier system for it to work. You can just plug this into a set of bookshelf speakers with banana plugs, and you'll be off to the races. It's not the cheapest device in the world. It's $70, but for a high quality digital to analog converter like this, it's not that's not crazy at all. Plus, it's got an aux audio input as well, so you can pass RCA straight into it and out through the speakers. So amplifier and Bluetooth receiver available over at Amazon for $70. And then finally this morning, God, I thought this was kind of a neat little product. This is sold from ASUS, so this isn't a third party doing this. This is a barebone unit that ASUS is selling. And in terms of what it's got in it and what it doesn't have in it, it comes with a Ryzen 3 5300U. It's a 4-core processor with the AMD Radeon graphics built in. It's got Wi-Fi on it as well, so that's built in. And in terms of ports, it's got USB-C, HDMI out, DisplayPort, a couple of USB 3.01 ports, and a combo audio jack. What it does not come with is there's no storage built in, so you're going to have to get a small M.2 drive to get that. It's got no RAM installed in it as well. It does have 2 SODIMM slots, so you can put your own laptop RAM in there. And then it doesn't come with an operating system. But for $200, you can slap a cheap M.2 in here that you find on sale, and maybe 1 or 2 sticks of RAM, depending on what you're trying to do. And you've got a nice little home server that's about the size of a little bit bigger than the size of a Roku. What are your thoughts on something like this for maybe somebody trying to get into Plex or Home Assistant or something else?
I mean, it's not bad. I'm not sure there's good value because in $200 and you need to shell out probably another 150 just for the storage and RAM.
Sure.
You're hitting a 450 machine. So just, really plan. And I mean, storage wise, while this can be a home automation server, it can't necessarily be a storage server unless you start plugging in USB hubs and you're getting into like a complexity on the external side. 200 without RAM, yeah, it looks nice. So building a media PC that will control stuff, right, instead of using a smart machine, yeah, maybe. So it can sit in the living room. Yeah, but yeah, iffy on the specs at this point. Like, it's not value. I don't see a lot of value.
I think it's value if you have access to the additional components cheaply. Like if you've got some extra RAM
Right.
laying around and an old M.2 that you can slap in here, that's probably the case.
Right, right. So if you need to replace like another box, and this is an excellent solution because it's already a motherboard and a CPU with video out that's ready for you. So definitely.
Nick, a couple of weeks ago, I think you had a laptop, a Lenovo laptop that I clicked on, and it went through actually went through to the Lenovo site, and I found refreshed Lenovo machines, and they have. Like I'm looking on Amazon now. I just did a quick search on refresh mini computers, and they've got a Lenovo ThinkCenter i7, a 32 gig of RAM, 1 TB SSD, renewed for $278.
Oh, damn. That's an old business machine, right?
And I almost bought one. They had the one I looked at was $199. I think it was with 16 gig and similar, but
so there are other options.
There are other options, but if you, like you said, if you have the components laying around, definitely go the other way. But the ThinkCenter stuff, the little micro ThinkCenters, are amazing machines for for if you want to buy something renewed, that's inexpensive. But this, I didn't even realize that 32 gig, 1 TB SSD, and Core i7.
Fourth generation
with Windows 10 Pro.
Huh? Yeah. Check. Can you switch over to me, Amnon?
Yes, sir.
I think this is the machine that Spence is talking about, or at least close to it. And all of the manufacturers have these. Dell has this, HP has this, Lenovo has this. These are computers that get, these are open box computers from a company that buys them. That's predominantly what these things are, open box. And yes, they absolutely can be had at a good deal. No argument there.
Yep.
Yeah, I've put several of these in at replacing older desktops with these, and they're great little machines. Limited,
that is
but great
specials for your first Sunday of March.
Thank you, sir. Our number is 919-518-9773. Computers 2K voice on Skype. Anything anybody wants to get in other than getting with some more articles?
I wanted to hear if you had an update on Dish.
Yes.
What's up?
Let me find it.
Well, before
Dish
you
Network.
find it, then
there it is.
Okay. Yeah.
Dish Network, one of the largest television providers in the United States, confirmed last Tuesday that the previously disclosed network outage, we talked about it last Sunday, was the result of a cybersecurity breach that affected the company's internal communication system and customer-facing support site. I didn't go into the details. You have more details?
No, I did see that there was still some problems with it, though. It's not fully. I don't believe it's fully been restored yet.
Yep, they're in trouble, no doubt.
Yeah, big time.
Yep. Ish. Let's see what else. Spence, do you have anything you want to talk about?
Oh, I'm actually having an interesting issue with my machine this morning.
Okay.
When I go to my PC, I do have a couple of USB devices attached here, but it's not letting me actually get to. I click on that and then it starts to sweep across. You know how you see my PC and you'll get a band, like it'll be scanning. I started right this morning. I did this. It's working on it, right? Just goes across. It gets all the way to the end and just sits there. I let it go this morning when I first started up for about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm working fine here. If I click on my USB icon on the tray, usually it'll say, you know, detach this device, detach. It won't even open. So I think I think it's a USB device that's having a problem here. Not sure what I have. I have a new 8 terabyte Seagate backup drive that I connected a couple weeks ago, and I run backups to it. So I'm not going to do anything drastic until we're done for the day. I don't want it to freeze.
Yeah.
But yeah, something's going on.
Good decision.
Maybe I'll be buying one of those little Lenovo micro machines now. My old FX machine here is getting, I think it's like 7 years old.
Oh, if it's an FX, it's older than that. Our friend Brian, him and I had FX computers at the same time. And I went from an FX to a i7 and then to a Ryzen, and he was still rocking his FX until just a couple weeks ago when he put a Ryzen chip in. As bad as those FX chips were, which they were awful. I mean, there was class action lawsuits over them. It was a disaster.
Heaters.
Heaters, yeah, they were just miserable chips. They did last though. I mean, there's still a lot of them in service.
I've been good until I've noticed recently that a couple of times I've had long starts and everything seems to work okay. I've got everything back. This doesn't have a lot of stuff on it. It has a lot of applications on it, but they don't have a lot of data on here. I'm not worried about that. So
no. Anyhow, password management software firm LastPass says one of its DevOps engineers had a personal home computer hacked and implanted with keylogging malware as part of a sustained cyber attack that exfiltrated corporate data from the cloud storage resource. LastPass on last Monday fessed up a second attack where an unnamed threat actor combined data stolen from an August breach with information available from a third-party data breach and a vulnerability in a third-party media software package to launch a coordinated attack. So this guy who's the engineer with LastPass had his machine compromised, and as he was connecting back and forth to work, they were capturing the password so they could get in. And apparently he had high level access. That's bad stuff. Any comments?
Terrible.
Huh?
That's terrible.
Terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Now, those of you with iPhones,
what's an iPhone?
cheer up. Microsoft is adding iPhone support to its Phone Link app on Windows 11. The app allows iPhone users to make and receive phone calls, send and receive text messages, and view an iPhone notifications on a PC directly on a PC. Notably, the app brings limited iMessage functionality to Windows. After pairing an iPhone with a PC via Bluetooth and granting some permissions on the iPhone, users can send and receive iMessages and SMS text messages in phone link, but there is no support for group chats or sending photos and videos. That's
Yeah.
interesting. I wonder if they're going to add it to Beeper.
Well, it's already in Beeper.
Oh, it is? So what's the big?
Well,
I don't know. I don't have an iPhone, so I never tried.
I mean, part of Beeper is that it'll act as an iMessage bridge.
All right. Well,
but
so
Beeper does iMessage and SMS. So
yeah, it's I didn't know about this. You got to be on the insider program, which I don't think I'm going to do.
maybe now, yeah.
So
yeah,
I will,
tried.
whenever this
I
is,
tried
it
the
looks
Android
cool.
one. I tried the Android one. Trust me, you
Mhm.
don't want it.
Why?
It's just too much because you literally need to start manage how you want notifications on your computer from your phone, right? It's I mean, I understand people who are really connected to their phone, but if you're using your computer, you don't need these on your phone. It's like I don't see. I tried understanding the benefits. Other than SMS, I do not see the benefits.
So let me give you my use case and why I want something like this. I do a lot where I am constantly sending things, specifically links back and forth with people, text message and things of that nature. And
Right.
my solution right now, and I know I should be using Beeper, but I'm having some problems with it, so I'm not. My solution right now is a Discord channel in my own private Discord server that I copy the link from my computer to my Discord channel, then on my phone, open Discord, copy the link, and SMS it or
Okay.
iMessage it to people.
Yeah.
That's my only use case. I don't particularly care about getting my notifications on my computer. It's just I hate the fact
Right.
that
But I
somebody
think it's
sends me
all
a
or
link.
nothing. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
Yeah. I tried it and then I uninstalled it after 2 days because it was too annoying.
you
Right.
uninstalled it on the Windows side
On
of
the
it?
Windows. Yeah, on the Windows. Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, PhoneLink, the default app only supports
Android.
Android. So when it becomes
Huh?
available, we'll do a little demo with it.
Okay. Good.
It looks
So
like a cool thing. It looks like something that we've asked for a long time. But the way it's implemented, first of all, there are other tools that do this. I don't know about iPhone, but for Android, there are across the years there were multiple tools. Some of them behind the payware, some of them free and ad based and stuff like that. They're all really really clunky. So yeah, I'm ambivalent about this. So now iPhones can ignore that software as well. That's what
The problem
feeling.
we've got as an iPhone user, and Android's had this for years. When I had an Android back in the day, I used to use an app called like Textly, I think was what it was called back in the day. And they had a web interface that you could use, and it allowed that. And this is back probably 2012, 2014. And it was great for things like that. But if you're an iPhone user and you use a Windows machine, there is 0% integration. If you have a Mac, you're in like Flint. I mean, it's all ecosystem. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. Is this the situation where maybe like the right clicking and getting the task manager that if people are loud enough about the implementation, Microsoft changes it and makes it a little bit more friendly?
Well, I actually think it's Microsoft realizing that they do not need to fend the world away, but instead they need to be the single piece of OS, right? That everybody wants to use for everything. That's why they're supporting Linux. That's why they're supporting Android, right? That's why. And so the moment they realize they can stop pushing away services because they want to support only their own, right? They started pushing away basically public, right? The people they just wanted to complain and stop using it instead of uh, this is the one time where they are going to be compared to iOS or and Mac and look and say, hey, why can Microsoft do this open and iOS can't, right? And stuff like that. So I think it's them finally realizing they're supposed to be this open ended OS that can handle everything and do it gracefully instead of shying away from supporting everything, uh, like Apple does, right? Apple says, if
Maybe.
it's not an Apple, I'm not interested. So um, I think that's what's behind this. They are finally owning to being really open. They're getting back to remember those ads of PC versus Mac.
I'm a PC.
They're taking on the other end.
Oh, all right.
I always just one last bit. I always find it strange when you look back at Apple 1984 ad where everybody's a drone that looks the same, and that's the IBM for them. And then the athlete with the hammer, right, throws the hammer at the screen, and that's the new, right, the audacious. The today the drones are the Macs and the iOS, right? They are the ones that are exactly the same, every single one of them, and all of the rest of the world is in all of different shapes and sizes and so I find it funny how the tables have turned on this one.
All right. Now, for those that have EVs, electrical vehicles, smart electrical vehicles, Ford just applied for a patent that will make repossession not a dangerous job. Somebody finally figured out they can do that. It will simply the car will move itself somewhere around the block or drive it to the dealer or whatever. They can do it so the car will take care of itself if you default on your payment. That's going to be interesting. The next thing we're going to see is some kind of a master switch that you hit when you leave the car if you don't have the money and you kill the battery to the wheels. There's no.
Right, that's all you need. Just unplug it,
Well,
and
you can't just unplug it because it'll mess up a lot of other things that when you plug it again, it's going to.
right. But that's going to
But
be the first question in the dealership: is what happens when you unplug the battery?
yeah, well, it's just interesting that somebody figured out, hey, we can do that. So all these
Yeah,
companies don't have to do that dangerous job of coming and towing it away. Now,
the fact that somebody else controls the car you bought, man, that's messed up.
now, if you
Ford
are,
is just starting to bring. I think it was this week. They're now finally doing production again on the Lightning, their F-150 EV. They weren't producing
yeah,
it
they
for quite some
stopped it
time
for
because the
some.
battery was exploding,
Yep.
or batteries could potentially explode. So interesting.
If
I find it.
you're thinking
I
about,
find it.
go
Yeah, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you go
It
ahead.
doesn't matter.
Go ahead, Gal.
I find it funny that these large companies are realizing that building a battery is hard.
and
It's like,
expensive.
oh, these electric vehicles, not a problem.
There
All
was
right.
a report that came out that said there aren't enough electricians to install all the charging stations we're going to need.
That sounds about right. North Carolina released their
Yeah.
NC Clean Transportation Plan this week. DOT released it. It's about 48 pages. I read through it, so you didn't have to. And it seemingly had no useful information about how you get to that point, including the electrical grid itself. Then yes, the people to install these things and everything else associated with. I mean, I think EVs are neat. I think the concept is cool. It just doesn't seem like they're there yet. for mass appeal, broad use. It's just not there yet. It will, like everything else. I mean, computers weren't there back in the 80s and early 90s. They
It'll
weren't
get
there yet for broad
It'll
appeal,
get
and now
there.
they
It's
are.
just it'll get there. It's just there has to be a breakthrough
The
that's going to bring
politics
us
are
there.
not there yet.
What?
The politics are not there yet.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
All right.
We need to secure
So
some more rare earth mining that's actually our own. That would help.
in the backyard. Yep.
Yeah, I can start. I'll lease it out $1 million a foot. You can come in and look for
Listen
for rare earth in my backyard.
Listen to this. If you're thinking about changing jobs and things like that, hopefully it will not spread. A veteran JP Morgan Chase banker fumed over the financial giant's policy requiring certain staffers to give 6 months' notice before being allowed to leave for another job. As the Wall Street worker who claimed to earn about $400,000 annually in total compensation after accumulating 15 years of experience, griped that the lengthy notice period likely means a lucrative job offer from another company will be rescinded. 6 months notice.
I say go with it. I say you get hired, you file in notice, right?
Yeah.
And so now you're getting 6 months compensation, but they don't trust you, so they don't let you work, right? And then, right, 5 months pass, and you say, "Listen, guys, do you still want me to work? I want to work." And they hire you, and they renegotiate the contract, and then you file notice, just as a precaution.
Oh,
I mean, how does a company think that they can control
I know.
a situation like that? I have zero idea. It's such a
And isn't there, I mean, I don't know. Isn't there a federal law that requires certain notice period? I mean, or is it really up to the company?
far as I know, there's nothing.
It's up to the
Maybe
state.
a minimum.
Up to the state?
Maybe there's a minimum, not a maximum.
Wait.
Yeah.
This labor laws are, I mean, obviously outside of like Title IX, like federal discrimination, employment stuff is all handled at the state level. That's why some states are right to work, some states are not. It's not a federal thing. North Carolina is a
Right to work.
right to work state,
Yeah.
so you can be fired and terminated for no reason. No cause is needed. You're just unemployed.
And do you remember how disappointed we were when Amazon decided they're not coming to North Carolina for their second headquarters?
Yeah,
But their
turns out
headquarters,
they're not going to Virginia either, right?
Yeah.
everyone?
They are pausing construction in Virginia. It's interesting.
The
So-
the resounding economic forecasts that banks seem to have known about for 6 months or more, that suddenly people are realizing this. It's not looking good. for the next
Yeah.
It's so
year or
funny
so.
though. I see this Amazon story this week. That now they didn't say they're pausing it or they're canceling.
They're pausing.
Pausing it, yeah.
Wasn't. Yeah.
But then I also saw this week that Elon Musk is rolling out his plan for his $10 billion Tesla facility in Texas. So it's like, it's interesting to see. And you're absolutely spot on, Spence. I mean, the economics of what we're about to, I think of what we're about to go into is going to be really bleak and grim. But it's no problem for Elon, apparently.
Well,
just
to
weird.
him, it's lunch money.
I mean, I guess. So.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
but,
like
I
he's-
mean, he got who was it? I think I forgot the name of the billionaire. He got an investment, a huge investment right now. Like whoever's holding the money, they see Tesla specifically still as a growing opportunity. And so, I mean, he's either very lucky or he's doing something right, right? One of the two.
He's also moving back to California for some kind of headquarters, not production, but
Tesla's headquarters.
Well,
some
they moved out of California, right?
right.
Did they officially do that though?
Yeah, and now they're moving
Oh.
back.
And now they're moving back.
Yeah.
They've got a huge operation in Nevada. I have a friend who drives them to and from their battery factory in Nevada. So
Yeah,
or
the
some type
mega,
of assembly, some kind of
mega
assembly.
factory, something like that. They call it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah. Some people go by the wayside. Some people are growing. That's normal.
Well, it's funny with Bezos at Amazon. There's some other stuff going on too. The Dan Snyder is in the process of selling the Redskins because he's essentially being forced out of the NFL, and they're not even letting Bezos put in a bid on the Redskins, which is very interesting. So he's like persona non grata for some reason. I don't really know why. I don't really know why he'd be boxed out of something like that. But yeah, they're
because
NFL's put the kibosh on that.
probably because the players want to keep on playing and not just become an Amazon that will be discarded later on or
Yeah, but
closed
since when
down.
the players have any say? I'm not.
Well, in the NFL, the players have an incredible amount of say. The
Yeah.
NFL Players Union practically runs the league. I mean, they have way too much control in the league.
Yeah.
I thought it would be cool. I was thinking like, if old Bezos and Amazon owns the Redskins, and think about all the cool shit they could put into the stadium. You could have like drones dropping off your food and stuff. I mean, that'd be awesome. They have all this crap anyway.
Yeah,
That
they
would,
can
it
have.
would,
If,
I'm not kidding. That would
if
be
they
really
need-
cool.
if they need a new game ball, the Amazon van drives out onto the field and delivers it.
Yeah.
Just keep,
Yeah. A drunk Amazon
advertisement.
driver burns out on the 50-yard line with the new ball.
Yeah, but will it be inflated? Is it 4-star inflated or 5-star inflated?
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like he would do some
Yeah.
interesting stuff there with the NFL, but I guess not.
Do you remember the thing he said? And I know I brought this up a couple of years ago. He actually said to a meeting, he was going around doing meetings at all the different app divisions. He says, your job is to keep us from going bankrupt as long as possible. So it's like, well, what a positive note. You know, it's like we're eventually going to go under, but our job is to keep it going long enough until we finally fail.
Well, I think he's
probably reality, but you know.
But is he not using the term bankrupt as its intended purpose, which is a legal declaration more than it is anything else?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't foresee Amazon's not going to go away. Amazon's never going away. I mean, I know that they said the same thing about IBM and Compaq and all that stuff, but at this point in time, there is no Walmart is the only one has got anywhere near the scope and the marketplace that Amazon does with their stores. They have like, I was reading a story yesterday by the way, Walmart's they closed all their Portland locations because retail theft was so egregious. Walmart's got something like 6,700 stores across the country. It's some ungodly amount of physical locations. But how can Amazon ever not exist? They've destroyed retail. And if they go away, then there's going to be nothing. Then there's literally nothing left.
I know there are people that love to hate Walmart, but at the same time, you've not seen, they were the first major retailer that made things affordable for people on low incomes.
Yes.
I mean, it was incredible. If you look at it, from a retail perspective, they wiped out all these other stores. But the benefit that they had, and I'm not justifying it from a perspective of what they do to towns, the prices that you can get stuff. I know people that worked as vendors for Walmart, big time vendors. They are the most ruthless people when it comes to negotiating price to get something. If you want to sell something in our store, here's the price. No, we can't. No, here's the price. And they will get it. And
no, you're absolutely correct about that. And that's kind of it's one of like the secret things that nobody talks about. not a secret. It's just something that nobody talks about is how, I mean, how an entire socioeconomic class that is constantly getting screwed has the availability to purchase things. I mean, I shop almost exclusively at Walmart outside of groceries, almost exclusively there.
Well, I mean,
There's certain things I will always go there for. I mean, if I need oil filters and oil,
all the
the
big
car,
stores,
just
all the big stores have this type of thing. I remember when they were talking about Home Depot. I mean, you want to sell something at Home Depot? This is what we're buying it for, and this is what we sell it for. No, we can't. No, well, then if you want to sell it here, that's how it is, and that's how they get their cheaper price. Yeah.
with I mean, on the
Anyway,
supply side, it's difficult, but on the consumer side, it's
yeah.
hugely beneficial.
Yep.
So it's
But in terms of the Amazon conversation, they really do have the infrastructure because they have these
Sure.
massive stores to compete with Amazon's not the right word to use, but um to be another alternative because there really isn't anything else. Target's not big enough to do it.
complement what they're doing.
No, it's
sort
not
of.
a compliment. It's a different. Amazon has no physical locations, and I'm not counting Whole Foods. That doesn't count. Walmart has
Right.
got all physical locations and can
And
essentially
online.
offer the same
Yeah.
stuff that Amazon can in terms of quick turnaround because they have freaking stores everywhere.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they have their new Walmart Plus thing. I'm tempted to sign up for it. There's some cool features on it. Plus, they have Sam's Club too. So it's
Yeah.
there's
Actually,
it's interesting.
one weakness I see with Amazon that you probably perceive the same thing. The more of these third parties that sell through them, there's issues. I mean, I went through, I talked about my trailer hitch story where I ordered something that said it was new through a third party vendor. Never came, never came, never came, kept, where is it? It's coming. We're going to working on it, all this stuff. Finally, I gave up. And Amazon even sent me a note saying, well, if this didn't come, we'll refund your money. So while I'm on vacation, my daughter says there's a box on the front porch and it's like shredded. And it was the trailer hitch. And so I got back to the vendor and I said, look, it arrived, but it's missing the installation kit. Oh, I'll try to find it for you. Well, after researching this, well, Amazon refunded my money, even though I still have the hitch. Because I contacted the seller. I said, send me a box and a label, and I will send it back to you. Nothing.
no, of course, it
turns
costs
out-
them more.
But I found out that this person the business is actually registered in like a former Soviet bloc country, and that he has a distribution thing in Brooklyn, New York, but he buys returns.
Well,
He didn't say that. He didn't say that. It was
but
new
you
in
got
the box.
part back.
Would not take it back. Did not ever contact me again after I repeatedly tried to contact him. And Amazon said, "Oh no, you're protected." And I said, "What do I do with this?" She said, "Don't do whatever you want with it. It's not your problem." They said to me, "We'll give you your money back." And then I actually went to the manufacturer and I said, "Look, I got this thing new without the parts." The guy goes, "Send me a picture of the item, a picture of the box, and your receipt." They gave me the parts under warranty.
Yeah.
So the company stood behind their product. They said, "You purchased it in good faith."
I had a situation this week. I wanted to replenish my propane torch tanks. And of course you go and you look on Amazon and sure enough, yeah, 3 for $30. Nah, not bad. I went to Walmart, 3 for $15. That's a big difference.
Yes.
I went ahead and I put it to be shipped. They say shipping is free. No, I'm sorry. I was going to go pick it up. And they said this was in the evening. They said by the next morning, by 11, it'll be ready for you. And sometime during the night, I got an email that says, oh, we don't have it in stock. So you can just change it to shipping and we will not charge you any fee. The next day, it was here. Free shipping. They're trying. There's no doubt that they're trying. And in many cases they make good, but there were some situations where their delivery people are delivering a completely different thing. Anyway, um, listen to this one. Nvidia released new GPU drivers last week that will upscale old blurry web videos on RTX 30 and 40 series cards. This is coming from The Verge. RTX Video Super Resolution is a new AI upscaling technology from Nvidia that works inside Chrome or Edge to improve any video in a browser by sharpening the edges of subjects and reducing video artifacts. NVIDIA will support videos between 360p and 1440p, up to 144 hertz in frame rate, and upscale all the way up to 4K resolution. This impressive 4K upscaling has previously only been available on NVIDIA Shield TV, but recent advances to the Chromium engine have allowed NVIDIA to bring this to its latest RTX 30 and 40 cards. As this works on any web video, you could use it to upscale content from Twitch or even streaming apps like Netflix, where you typically have to pay extra for 4K stream. So you can get a regular stream and upscale it to 4K. Now on a computer.
By the way, not necessarily. I know that that's the assumption.
Yeah.
But keep in mind that these browsers, when they're playing stuff from Netflix, for example, it goes through a DRM encoder. So there's a good chance that
That they
DRM
will not
encoder
allow
is
it.
like that.
Interesting.
So I understand the assumption. I'm not sure that it's accurate.
That it actually would.
I might be wrong, right?
Yeah, but no, I see a point there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely.
I have a computer problem. Before we get out of here, my Gmail address that I use has been absolutely lambasted with spam email.
They had, oh no, that was Microsoft.
Google is catching a lot of it. And I'm getting just March 4th yesterday, there's probably 60 emails in my spam. Just confirm receipt, congrats, confirmation this, you've been chosen that. And some are making their way through. And I, for weeks now, have been marking these as report spam inside of Gmail. I don't know what to freaking do, but it's completely destroying my email address. What do I do?
Is that a publicly facing email address?
I mean, I give it to people. It's not on any websites. I don't think. I mean, if it is, it's been on them for months. But I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I mean, there's not much you can do. Gmail's spam filters are probably the most advanced ones at this point.
Yeah.
And if they are missing it, I don't think there's a lot you can do. No, I have 0 suggestions.
It's terrible. My whole and it's weird. They'll catch like 3 or 4 with the same thing. But then the other ones, they just pass right through.
Yeah,
they're all the same thing. It's just all fake.
There are a lot of spams that are coming now. It looks like these guys figured out a way how to get around all those smart spam filters. And there's really, you look at it and it's completely legit. You look at the score and it's perfect score. Everything is right, but it's not.
If I had to guess, spammers are now using tools like ChatGPT to figure out how to bypass the current AI spam filter.
Yeah.
And it'll take some time. And
Sure.
It's an arm race, right? It's like we're never gonna see this. And by the way, Amnon, you probably know this because you're hosting email as part of the Delta Force service. It's most legitimate web servers, email servers on the web are misconfigured.
Correct.
And so there are technologies that are designed to block this and
right.
create trust between, but most legitimate email servers are not using that,
Right.
including the big ones,
You can't.
Gmail and Outlook and all that. So that's the main cause for it. It's like everybody needs to get their shit done and switch on the switches on the technologies that are designed to protect, right? But nobody's doing that. Nobody's saying this is the only way. Because nobody wants to lose an email address, a message.
I'm trying it again with Delta Force. I mean, this week, I told Ron, I said, Ron, look, this thing, the only thing that you see that's failing is the SPF and the DMARC and things like that. And I said, Ron, come on. It failed both of them. Why did it go through? And he says, Amnon, we went through this years ago. That there are a lot of people are not configured correctly. And we decided we're not going to do that anymore. I said, you know what? I'm putting it back. So I went ahead and I raised.
And you want to see how many complaints you're going to get,
exactly.
Right? Basically.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's been a week. And so far, nobody's complaining. And we are, normally, we're not bouncing spam messages back to the sender.
Right. Because you don't want.
Yeah, there's no reason for it. It's junk.
DDoS. Yeah.
So this way, if it has to do with SPF or DMARC, I said, let's bounce these back just in case so we can see what's going on. So far, no problem. I don't know if more people are configured correctly. These messages that I was complaining about came to me at Delta Force from Delta Force, supposedly.
Yeah.
And I said, what the hell?
Really
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I have all that stuff that I was supposed to reject. I said, yep, but we don't. So, yeah.
Eleanor,
can you create, sorry, just one question, technical question. Can you keep everything like that, but create like a whitelist for specific domains that
there's no
don't go through that?
There's no whitelist, individual whitelist for Gal. There is for the server. So if I see that somebody is saying, hey, I'm working with this company and they can send us email, and then I see that somehow that company is using SendGrid or somebody to send, and they got flagged by fail to ban and got added to a blacklist. So I will put the name, their domain.
Right, domain. I'm asking about domain.
In a whitelist, yeah. I'll put that in the whitelist, but that's to every user, not just for Gal. Yeah, I can do that.
That much I understand. I'm asking about the domain level. So you can whitelist a domain and say, it's okay if this one, it doesn't have
and
DKIM or SPF properly.
And actually in that file, I put comments above each one to know who this was done
who complained and what.
Yeah. So.
Sorry, Nick, you can go.
All right.
No, you're good. Eleanor said more spam, me too. And I posted a link or sent a link of this is the email that just came in, like while literally as I was talking about getting too much spam email, another one popped in. And the address is ridiculous. I mean, it's a fake, obviously a fake .edu email address, and it's being relayed through an on Microsoft.com account. The fact that Google's spam filter is not blocking this makes maybe it's just getting too overloaded. Maybe that's what's going on, and they're just things are falling through because the spam. Maybe there's a period of time where if something needs to be checked by the spam filter and it's too busy, that it passes it to your inbox, because there's no way this doesn't get caught by a spam. There's just no way. Plus, there's no text in the email. All of them are just images. There's no text.
Yep.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe the spam filters, content-wise, they can't do anything with images.
No. If we have it that if there's just an image in the body, then the score is real high.
Yeah.
There's no reason for somebody to send an email with just an image.
There
is, but I mean, come on, put something in there.
now that I look at the rest of my, oh, I just got another new one. Camp Lejeune, you've been chosen. It is interesting. These all have kind of the same way that this is being done through the dot on Microsoft. I wonder if it is literally too much spam coming into Google, and there's some things are just sitting in a queue too long, and they're just passing it through. It might be something like that, which would be crazy, but not impossible. It's very interesting.
I just stumbled across something here. It shows Jay Leno showed off his new face on Kelly Clarkson show.
Okay.
For the restoration they did to his face, and he looks younger. It's possible. Yeah, it shows a picture of him before and after. It's amazing.
Hey Nick,
what's up?
You'd appreciate this. And this is something that I got in the mail.
Chase Inc. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll show your address. I guess it's not really secret, but wait, what does that say?
You're invited.
WKIX Radio 5421.
Oh. Yeah, there you go. Nice.
Now imagine how old this mailing list that they are using is to even associate me with WKIX Radio. I mean, and this is not spam. This is mail, junk mail.
Yeah.
Who owns them, or do those call letters still exist?
It's Curtis.
They do.
Yeah.
It's owned by Curtis, I think.
Yeah.
You're right. I remember when they bought it, and they
it was just
a new
amazing.
studio, and it was like walking into a land of ancient equipment.
Oh.
Yep. I can attest to that.
They took this very modern setup, and they just said, "Oh no, we use this. It's from the 1960s."
All right. Put you back on. Anyhow, it's that time of day again. Anything anybody wants to add? Anything happening on the chat? No? All right. Anything else? Going once? All right. So thanks, Gal. And thank you, Spence. Thanks, Nick. It was fun. Need to go outside and enjoy the weather. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie and Donna, Dina, Mati, Eleanor, Sarid, Yaakov and Yael. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. Also, go ahead and change any same passwords that you're using in different places. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. And remember again, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. Nick is on Wilmington's 980 The Wave and 107.9 FM. You can tell your Echo device to play 980 The Wave and listen to him. Or you can always go to the recordings at nickcraig.com. And Tuesdays, not this week, right, Nick? When is it? He's not here. Tuesday, 7 p.m., Nick and Brian doing the Infection Podcast on Twitch. Survival games, gaming news, and some politics. 7 p.m., twitch.tv/Infection Podcast. Have a great week, and we'll be back together again next week. Oh, Nick, is it this week that it's on Wednesday or?
No, a couple weeks.
Oh, okay. Never mind. All right. See you, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.